So, today they announced in Arizona, in normal news, that they have now approved a digital license. Now people go, what's the big deal, Carl? I don't know, a digital license? So what, we do everything on our phone? Well, it's just one step closer to everything being inside of you, of course. And your digital ID and digital license at some point soon are only going to be available on your device or inside your body. It's the whole reason that everything is going on in the world right now, was to get everything digital. They can't convert the currencies. They're going to destroy the currencies for a digital currency. We all know this. Take a look at this from Arizona. They are so... What would you think they would use on the card, right? You know, like when you get a credit card or a check book, you could pick like the Rocky Mountains, or you pick your favorite sports team as your backdrop. Of course, well, what do you think they would pick in these articles released from Apple as the background of the credit card? Satan? Well, it's close you're going to get. It's a goat. It's a goat. That's the picture they decided to use as they released this, because this is the beast system, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be intertwined with you and technology. It's not a conspiracy theory. This isn't something we're making up. This is something our world leaders meet and talk about, is how we can get everything digital, a digital world, right? You don't need me to play you the clip from the World Economic Forum again of them talking about it. You don't need to hear us all talking about why these towers are constantly going up, because they tell the zombies that they can download a song a little bit faster. They don't realize what it's really for, and when we try to tell them, they refuse to listen. So Canada recently, doing the digital ID, we know that they have the digital passport. And of course, who better than Apple to release the digital license? So think about that. Your state are the ones who are supposed to be responsible for your license, right? It's a state-issued ID. You go to the DMV in your state, you get a license. Well, this is going to be through Apple. You can control this in your Apple wallet. And I've said for years, Apple will likely be the company that's used for all of this. Why? Well, for two reasons. One, it's the brand they've made people most comfortable with. And two, Apple is intertwined with 666, the first Apple computer selling for $666.
So Steve Jobs went in to sell him some of our little boards that we built for $20. He said, no. People want to come in, they want to buy it pre-built. They want to buy the thing ready to go. It cost us $250 to build maybe. We'd sell it for $500. And then the retail price was $666.66, because I, as a mathematician, like repeating digits. And that was what it should be.
Wow. And telling us, of course, the reason is because they like numbers that are in consecutive order. So they couldn't have done 777, 555, right? Talk about bullcrap. They wouldn't say, hey, it might be a bad idea to do 666, because we're trying to sell these and make money in our business. So we might scare Christians away with this new technology and then having that number in it. Oh, they know exactly what they're doing, because everything is being shown to us and everything's now playing out. So not only is it in Arizona and been passed in Arizona and launched in Arizona, additional states to follow include Colorado, Hawaii, Mississippi, Ohio, and the territory of Puerto Rico, okay? Not only that, Apple is quote-unquote lobbying New York. Well, they can pretend this is what we all know about this stuff. It's a push-shove, right? Because if they show you that everything is being forced, then everybody wakes up. So they pretend like, hey, we presented it in New York, didn't really like the idea. Oh, so maybe Microsoft can do it in New York. You'll give us the illusion of, well, look, there's different companies in different states and you could pick which one, and, the illusion of freedom continuing to be in play. So Apple announcing that Arizona is the first state to offer their driver's license and state ID and wallet. Starting today, Arizonians can add their driver's license or state ID to wallet and tap their phone or Apple Watch to seamlessly and securely present it at select TSA security checkpoints in Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport. I mean, it's happening. Your digital ID. How many years have we all been talking about digital ID, digital passport? And people are still, now it's here and they're just like, yeah, I mean, what's the big deal? It's not a big deal to you because you've been desensitized and conditioned into thinking everything should be going digital normally. And then when they even tell you it's going to be in your body, you're going to be like, hey, what's the big deal? It's easier. I don't need a wallet. I don't have to sign anything. They can scan my retina. They can scan my wrist. I mean, and then you tell Christians, like, that's not the mark. Oh, right. You know, he was calling Christian, it's Sunday law, or it's whatever you want to believe, but you don't think that this is tied into it? I don't know what to tell you at this point. So they said, we're thrilled to bring the first driver's license and state ID in wallet to Arizona today and provide Arizona, like I said, with easy, secure, private way to present their ID when traveling through just a tap on their phone or Apple Watch. This is according to Apple's vice president of Apple Pay and Apple Wallet. We look forward to working, and probably the vice president of Lucifer, him or herself. We look toward working with many more states and the TSA to bring IDs in wallet to users across the US. And like I showed you in the picture earlier, I mean, how much more obvious can this stuff be? I've covered the GOAT for so long. Before, I mean, whatever channel you listen to, everybody is aware of Baphomet worship, right? What do you think is going on with all the stuff with genders and gender neutrality? Why do you think the Baphomet has breasts and a wiener? Okay? They didn't just go, hey, let's make it gender neutral. This is part of the New World Order. They're destroying everything God created, including man and woman, right? And including your DNA, which is what's going on now. You as a person, not anymore. Not if you're doing you-know-what to yourself, and not when they continue to put up these, these towers and things like that, because once you're connected to technology, you ain't human no more. You're blank human, transhuman. There's that word again. They don't like using that word around here. Then on top of all this stuff with Apple, you have the CBDC and the fragility of a cashless society. This article that came out talking about how dangerous it could be to have digital currency, because people are just like, oh, it's going to be so much better and so much easier. Listen to what this is. This should scare people. And if it doesn't and they laugh and think it's not going to happen because they trust their government, then they just deserve to fall off a cliff into the pit. The rise of digital assets is a revolution in the digital and financial world. For the first time, consumers can make direct money payments across the globe at the speed of the internet. The widespread use of digital assets would allow consumers to transfer money near instantaneously rather than rely on a series of intermediates to conduct a single transaction. Okay, people hear that and they're like, so why is that a problem, Call? Oh, I don't know. How's this? The most notable and troubling CBDC in development is the Chinese digital currency, the pinnacle of digital authoritarianism. Remember that word. The pinnacle of digital authoritarianism. This digital currency would be linked to a social credit score that gives the Chinese government instant knowledge and control over its citizens' finances. Digital currency will increase the ability of the government to silence dissidents and control speech. Oh, right. We're all crazy nuts, right? So this is happening in China, and apparently there's liberal cupcakes who want this to occur in America and want this to occur in the UK. So you hear the first part and you're like, well, it's easier. Well, first of all, I don't know how lazy you could be that you can't pull your wallet out and pay cash or pay a credit card. I mean, you have to be pretty lazy, but we see these people, right? They sit in their underwear all day and play video games. So we know the type of people that this is geared towards, and they think it's an advancement, and they think that they're advanced mentally when they're so far beyond dumbed down. It's incredible that they can't think freely for 5 seconds on their own. But then you have the saying, the most notable and troubling thing is that the Chinese have your money linked to your social credit score. Do you know what that means? That means if they decide they don't like you. So let's use an example. Call for an uprising. They don't seem to like me very much. Not just the government. A lot of people don't seem to like me. Okay, that's fine by me. That means if they don't like you, they can monitor your currency. You might say, well, they can monitor your bank accounts now, the IRS and things like that. They can freeze your assets. You think the thing in Canada wasn't a precursor for what's coming? Pfft, you kidding me? You kidding? Of course it was. You think the stuff in Russia, they're getting people used to the fact that they can freeze and shut down bank accounts. That's what this is about, because the Great Reset doesn't happen without that. So your social credit score is going to be based on how obedient you are. Okay? If you don't get this. So even if you're an extreme liberal, Okay, and you're following suit and you're like, I want this, I want to sign up. Because it seems like a lot of extreme liberals talk a little, oh my gosh, like that. Even if you are, and even if you think the government agrees with your opinions, at some point, they're going to flip on you because they think you're cattle too, just like they think we are. They've just gotten you to turn on us instead of them who's doing it, causing the civil unrest between everyone, right? They could say, well, you know what? Your social credit score is down. Because remember when I covered the social credit score and Black Mirror? Remember that? The woman couldn't go to the airport. She raised her voice. Her credit score went down. She couldn't get a ticket to get on a plane. It sounds crazy, right? It's going to be reality. It's going to be reality. So China, who's doing this, they're covering credit scores. And if they want you silenced, they'll freeze your bank account and not let you make transactions, which would mean you wouldn't be able to buy or sell food. You wouldn't be able to buy or sell anything. It means you're a slave to their system. It's modern day slavery on steroids. On steroids. So we have the digital ID. We have them pushing towards cashless. And now when you talk about, well, they want it inside your body, people still think it's a crazy thing, right? And I've talked about all the way they transition you into it, from your phone to your watch, to the video I did recently about your veins, scanning your veins, right? Well, what do you think the next step is? Oh, don't forget Apple lenses on your eyeball. I don't know if it can get much further closer to being in you than on your eyeball. So what do these people think this is? No? Nothing to do with the mark? Nothing to do with them being so obsessed to get certain things inside you. Nothing to do with it. Okay. Well, if you feel you could trust your government and the credit score that they give you, because remember, what are the guidelines for your social credit score? The guidelines are you're obedient. That means on a flip of a night, they can wake up and tell you that, yeah, we don't like people who are LGBT anymore. Right? Which they don't like you anyway. They don't like anyone. They don't like non-straight, they don't like straight people, trans, they don't like anyone. They're doing all this stuff to cause mass chaos and people's brains are frying. They can wake up tomorrow and say, if you're LGBT, we don't like you anymore. Your credit score is not obedient and you're going to be screwed because you've given power to a government. People who don't like you already. This whole thing going on in Ukraine with the outbreak, this is all about total control, not control, total control over you, over me, over everyone. And that's why a lot of us are passionate about this. We're not waking up going, oh, yeah, tinfoil hat wearers like they want, they don't want you to think. That's why they tell people, yeah, they wear tinfoil hats, they're crazy people. So they automatically dismiss anything they hear. They're flat out telling you they're doing this. They're not hiding it, connecting humans with technology. They're not hiding it. Now you might be like, oh, that would be really cool. Well, when you're not human, oh, is that going to be really cool? And then there are people who are like, yeah, it will be. All right, enjoy hell. Have a good time. Say hi to Elton John down there and Freddie Mercury. I'm sure they'll be having a ball down there. So the digital ID now in Arizona, the digital license through Apple, 666, and I've said before a million times, one of my first videos talking about Apple and the bite of the apple, it's representing the forbidden fruit. And please don't write, it doesn't say it's an apple in the Bible. Well, that's what they're representing. Could it have been a banana? Sure. But they're using an apple, okay? And the bite mark out of it is for the forbidden fruit. And that's why they constantly use celebrities biting the apple. What do you think the apple and the teacher is about? The forbidden fruit. Because teachers are teaching you nothing but bull crap. Right? They always show the teacher biting the apple at their desk. Why? Because they're feeding the beast system by teaching people a world of lies. And now we're going digital. We're going with the digital ID. And people will still go, yeah, I don't think it's that call. I don't know. Well, I know you guys who listen to my channel are just, you understand. But, a lot of people do stumble upon my channel. A lot of people cover my channel. If you're new to my channel, I have a very big channel at one point. So people know who I am. I mean, I'm not like a lot, but you know what I mean. People cover the channel. And I'm still trying to use my channel to help wake up the morons that come from those channels to make fun because they still hear this. How do you not get it at this point? They don't like you. Do you see what's going on right now? Do you think that Biden and these people have your best interests at heart? Or mine? That's why it's so important for us to band together, but it's not going to happen because they're giving people this illusion that a utopian society can exist through social Marxism and through them being in control. And they are going to cut the cord on everybody at some point. So you better prepare now because it's getting closer and closer every single second. Not day, second.